Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that, well, it really underpins our entire digital world. We're talking about the global IT infrastructure management tools market. Now, it might sound a bit niche, maybe a little dry, but trust me, understanding the space it's like having a secret decoder ring for the future of tech. We've got this new market forecast report right here, and honestly, the numbers it reveals are genuinely eye-opening. They show just how foundational this market is to, well, everything digital.
That's absolutely right. And when we talk about IT infrastructure management tools,
Hmm.
what we're really focusing on are those critical software and systems, the ones organizations use to, orchestrate, monitor, and optimize their entire digital ecosystem.
Okay.
Think about it, right? Everything from making sure your network runs smoothly to managing these really complex cloud environments, securing data that's spread all over the place. None of that just happens.
Right. It needs management.
Exactly. It needs these tools. They're kind of the silent backbone. So for anyone keen on understanding where digital transformation is really accelerating, getting a grip on this market is, well, it's essential.
Absolutely. So, our mission today really is to cut through this pretty comprehensive market forecast report. We want to pull out the most important insights, the key knowledge nuggets, specifically for you, our listener. We're trying to go beyond just the raw numbers and figure out what they actually mean. And, here's the headline right off the bat. This market isn't just growing, it's on an incredibly robust trajectory. It signals this massive ongoing digital expansion. So let's maybe unpack this with the overall global picture first.
Yeah, good place to start.
Okay, so in 2021, the entire IT infrastructure management tools market globally was valued at just over $62.6 billion.
62.6.
Now, fast forward just a bit to 2025, and that number's projected to hit $88.3 billion.
Okay, decent jump.
But here's where it gets really compelling. By 2033, we're talking about this market more than doubling. It's forecast to cross an astounding $175.5 billion.
Oh, wow.
Over 175 billion. What's truly significant there, I think, is the compound annual growth rate, the CAGR. It's nearly 9% driving that doubling.
Almost 9%, yeah.
And that tells you this isn't some fleeting trend, right? It's a really profound indicator of how deeply the global economy is investing in digital infrastructure. I mean, we're seeing an explosion of cloud adoption, the shift to hybrid multi-cloud setups,
Right.
and this escalating need for sophisticated tools, things like AI ops for predictive analytics, or these unified observability platforms that can actually make sense of these incredibly complex distributed networks.
hmm
This growth, it really speaks to how foundational these tools are becoming in, our digital expansion.
Okay, so that's the global view. Now let's maybe zoom in a bit. North America is a region that has historically held, well, pretty significant sway in this market.
In 2021, North America recorded just over $23 billion in sales revenue. The projection takes it to over $61 billion by 2033. I mean, that's substantial growth in just absolute dollar terms.
It is, absolutely. However, this raises a really interesting point from the report. Despite that, impressive absolute growth, the region's overall CAGR, it's reported as surprisingly modest. We're talking 0.085%.
0.085, that seems tiny.
It does seem tiny, doesn't it? It really begs the question, what's actually going on beneath the surface there?
Yeah, that's a critical question. I mean, given the region's tech leadership, Silicon Valley and all that, why such a low regional average? Does it maybe suggest maturity or perhaps certain like older segments are declining?
Exactly. I think that's the key nuance. North America is this massive, mature market. So it's likely that some of the older, maybe legacy IT management solutions, they might be seeing consolidation or even a drop in new sales,
Hmm.
as companies transition to more modern cloud-native tools.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that can kind of weigh down the overall regional average number. But, and this is important, if we look at specific areas of innovation within the region, the growth is clearly still very vibrant.
Right, so the average hides some dynamism within.
Precisely.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's look at some of those individual engines then, the ones that are definitely humming along the United States, for instance. It shows a pretty healthy CKGR, over 8.3%. It's expected to more than double from roughly $18 billion in 2021 to over $47 billion by 2033.
Much more like what you'd expect.
No. And Canada is also showing strong growth. It's expanding from over $3.2 billion to over $9.2 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 9%.
Also very strong.
And Mexico, too, is projected to see revenues more than double, supported by a solid CAGR of nearly 8.7%. So yeah, you're right. While the overall regional average might reflect this complex, mature market, the core drivers of digital transformation within these specific countries are very much alive and kicking.
That's right. Now, shifting our focus over to Europe, another really significant player. The market there is projected to grow from just over $14 billion back in 2021 to nearly $38 billion by 2033. And it's maintaining a strong CGR itself, over 8.5%,
8.5%. Okay.
which really highlights this consistent digital investment right across the continent. Probably driven by factors like GDPR compliance needs, increased cloud adoption across all sorts of different industries.
And within Europe, we see some definite powerhouses, right? Germany seems to be leading the charge. It's got the strongest European KGR listed here, nearly 9.3%. It's expected to almost triple its market value by 2033 from about 2.7 billion.
Triple. Wow.
Ah.
Yeah, Germany's often a leader in adopting these kinds of industrial and enterprise technologies.
Then you've got the United Kingdom and Spain, also showing pretty robust expansion. Both have KGRs nearing 8.8%, which indicates, strong digital transformation efforts ongoing.
Yeah.
France, Italy, Russia, Sweden, they're also contributing significantly, generally keeping EGRs around the, let's say, 7 to 9% mark. It demonstrates this broad-based adoption of these crucial IT management tools. It really feels like a continent-wide commitment to digital resilience.
Yeah, absolutely. And we shouldn't forget the sort of collective strength of the other contributors across Europe. You mentioned some key ones, but also, Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg, all showing steady gains.
Right.
And even the bucket labeled rest of Europe collectively is growing substantially. It goes from about $1.5 billion in 2021 to over $4.1 billion by 2033. This kind of consistent growth across such diverse economies, it really speaks volumes about just the universal need for these tools now.
Okay, so Europe's solid. North America's huge but nuanced. Let's talk about the real high-growth engine that jumps out from this report, Asia Pacific. This region truly stands out. It boasts the highest regional CGR globally, a stunning 9.9%,
Almost 10%.
almost 10%. The overall market here is projected to surge from nearly $16 billion in 2021 to almost $49 billion by 2033.
Yeah, Asia Pacific is it's where a lot of the explosive growth is happening. And what's driving this acceleration is fascinating. We're seeing just incredibly rapid digital adoption, massive urbanization trends, a burgeoning startup ecosystem in many countries.
Right.
China, of course, is leading the charge in absolute terms. Its market's expected to triple from nearly $5 billion to over $15.5 billion.
Yeah.
And it has a powerful CGR itself, over 10.1%.
Over 10%? Wow.
And then there's India,
Hmm.
exhibiting one of the fastest growth rates globally, starting at nearly $2 billion. It's projected to reach almost $6.7 billion by 2033. That's an impressive GGR of nearly 11%.
Almost 11% for India. That's huge. What's driving that specifically?
Well, it seems to be fueled by, widespread smartphone adoption, huge population coming online, plus significant government-led digital initiatives like Digital India.
Got it.
And then you also have Japan and South Korea showing strong, consistent growth. Their markets are expected to more than double as well. Solid, mature markets, but still growing fast in this area.
And the innovation, it seems, just continues right across the region. Australia is looking at a significant market increase. Singapore is showing a really strong CAGR too, over 10.2%.
Singapore punching above its weight again.
Yeah. Southeast Asia, collectively, demonstrating robust expansion, expected to more than triple its market value. And Taiwan is also flagged as a key player, projected to nearly triple its market value by 2033. This region really exemplifies how new digital frontiers are being built, almost from the ground up in some cases, demanding state-of-the-art infrastructure management.
Absolutely. So if we kind of broaden our perspective now, it's clear this whole digital transformation thing, it isn't just confined to the established tech hubs anymore.
Yeah.
Let's maybe shift focus now to the rapidly developing regions, South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Digital adoption there is accelerating at an incredible pace, and that's driving significant market expansion for these tools too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at South America first. The market there, projected to grow from just over $4 billion in 2021 to over $11.6 billion by 2033. That comes with a KGR of nearly 9.3%.
Also very strong, over 9%.
Brazil is leading the charge there, as you might expect given its size, expected to nearly triple its market value. But we're also seeing Argentina and Chile expanding rapidly. Their KGRs are nearing 9.7% and 9.5% respectively, shows significant investment in digital infrastructure right across the continent.
Definitely catching up fast. And the Middle East also shows really promising growth, rising from nearly $3.4 billion in 2021 to almost $9.7 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 9.1%.
Okay.
And key markets there, like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE, they're expected to see their market values double or even triple. The UAE specifically boasts the highest regional KGR there at nearly 10%.
Wow.
And this really speaks to those large-scale digital initiatives often driven by national visions, economic diversification efforts in those countries. They're investing heavily.
Makes sense. And finally, Africa. The market there is set to expand robustly, too. From nearly $2.2 billion in 2021 to over $6.2 billion by 2033, that carries a KGR of over 8.5%.
8.5% for Africa. Solid.
Yeah. Nigeria and South Africa are seeing solid growth. South Africa particularly has a CAGR over 9.2%. It really showcases the increasing digitization and infrastructure development happening across the continent. And even the rest of Africa categories contributing meaningfully. It collectively demonstrates the region's commitment to building out its digital future.
So after all those numbers,
Yeah.
like what does this all mean for you, the listener? I think the clearest takeaway is that the global IT infrastructure management tools market is unequivocally on a fast track. It signals these profound shifts in how organizations operate everywhere. This isn't just, slow incremental growth. It's a sustained acceleration. And it seems driven by the foundational needs of a digital-first world.
Yeah, it really feels fueled by this relentless digital transformation push across literally every sector, massive investments pouring into cloud services, and this ever-growing need for, sophisticated network optimization and observability, as you mentioned earlier. Every single digital interaction, every new app, every piece of data, it relies on this invisible but totally essential foundation.
Which raises, I think, an important question about future opportunities and
Yeah.
maybe challenges, too. Every single region we've discussed, from the high-growth engines like Asia-Pacific to the rapidly emerging markets in Africa and South America, each one is contributing uniquely to this global digital evolution.
Right. Different speeds, different drivers sometimes.
Exactly. And that signals abundant investment and innovation opportunities,
Hmm.
particularly, I think, in areas like AI-driven AI ops, again, FinOps, for managing cloud costs, which is becoming huge.
Oh, yeah. Cost management is key.
And obviously security solutions designed for these really complex multi-cloud environments. The landscape for these tools is just becoming more critical and more specialized than ever before.
So wrapping up then, what does this all mean for your perspective, listening in? With such consistent, really robust growth projected globally, where do you see the next big aha moment, the next breakthrough in IT infrastructure management arising? And maybe what specific emerging technology do you think will be the one to truly drive it forward next? AI? Something else? We'll leave you with that thought to ponder. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a subject that's, well, it's often invisible, but totally vital for, pretty much every business now. IT infrastructure management tools. Our mission, like always, is to cut through all the noise, grab the really important bits of information, and basically get you a fast track to understanding this super crucial and fast-changing field. We're looking at let's say, the complex software, the systems that keep modern companies ticking digitally. It's not just keeping the servers running, right? It's about enabling growth, making sure things don't fall over. I mean, making modern digital business actually work.
Absolutely. And in this deep dive, we're going to really unpack that. We'll look at the key things pushing growth, the real roadblocks slowing things down, and some genuinely exciting trends that are reshaping the whole market, like right now. The aim is to give you a solid but, concise grasp of why these tools are just so fundamental today.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Digital stuff can feel so, well, brittle sometimes. What was the tipping point? When did these tools go from being like a nice extra to something businesses absolutely cannot live without? What fundamentally shifted?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, the first big driver, it isn't just that IT got bigger. It's the sheer, almost fractal complexity. I mean, think about it. Companies now often use hybrid and multi-cloud setups.
Right. So some stuff on their own servers, some with Amazon, some with Microsoft, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And managing all your servers, your databases, apps, networks across all these different places, it becomes this incredibly complex puzzle. So these management tools, they step in to give you that central viewpoint.
Like a single dashboard for everything.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Centralized visibility.
Yeah.
They also offer real-time issue detection so you catch problems before they blow up, and seamless performance monitoring, just making sure everything's running as it should for the users. And we're seeing this across the board. Finance, healthcare, they all need this just to operate smoothly day to day.
Okay, so complexity is huge. But you also mentioned that always on demand. Even a tiny outage can be disastrous now, right? How did the tools help with that pressure?
Oh, totally. That's incredibly important. In this digital age, system failures, outages, they're not just inconvenient. They can genuinely cripple a business, impact sales, reputation, everything.
Hmm.
So companies are really investing heavily in solutions that can, you know, automate the routine stuff, the
How
maintenance,
nice.
proactively spot issues before they become big problems. Almost like predicting a breakdown in your car before the warning lights even come on,
Okay, yeah.
and optimize how IT actually works.
Yeah.
The payoff is, well, lower running costs, way fewer disruptions, and just much better resilience. Downtime is just not really acceptable anymore.
Makes total sense. And what about the bigger picture stuff, like digital transformation everyone's talking about and this huge shift to remote work? How does that play in?
Massive factors.
Hmm.
Huge. With teams spread out everywhere, working from home or different offices, and more critical systems moving to the cloud, you absolutely need IT infrastructure that can scale up or down easily, and that's secure. That's non-negotiable.
Hmm.
These management tools, they enable really crucial things like fixing problems remotely, managing configurations efficiently.
Making sure everything's set up right and stays that way.
Exactly. And keeping an eye on compliance, which is vital for all the regulations. They've basically become foundational for how we work now,
Yeah.
mobile, distributed. It's not just about the office building anymore.
Okay, so the reasons to adopt these are pretty compelling, but nothing's ever that simple, right? There must be challenges. What are the big hurdles that might slow companies down?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the biggest restraints is cost. The initial investment and then the ongoing operational costs can be really substantial. It's not just buying the software license. You've got the setup, which can be complex, often a lot of customization needed for specific business needs, training people up,
Right, getting the team skilled.
and then the continuous maintenance
Yeah.
for, say, smaller businesses or startups. Those costs, upfront and recurring, can be a serious barrier. Makes it hard to jump in, even if they see the benefits.
Yeah, I can see that. And okay, say you get past the cost hurdle. Then you've got the problem of making the shiny new tools work with all the maybe older stuff you still rely on. How big a deal is that?
Well, that's a very real headache. Compatibility with legacy systems. Lots of companies still have significant investments in older infrastructure, things that just weren't built to easily connect with modern management tools,
So they don't talk to each other easily.
pretty much. And bridging that gap, it can be incredibly time-consuming, very expensive. Sometimes it means custom coding. Sometimes it means a massive, disruptive upgrade of the old system. And frankly, a lot of companies are hesitant to do that rip and replace because of the effort and cost involved. So it puts them off.
And then there's the people side. You mentioned training, but what about just finding the skilled folks in the first place? Isn't that often the hardest part?
It's a critical bottleneck,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a persistent skills gap globally, especially for people who really understand automation, advanced systems management, cybersecurity.
The specialists.
Exactly. These tools, even though they aim to simplify things, still need experts to set them up right, keep an eye on them, and really get the full value out. So if a company can't find those people, or can't afford them, or maybe can't train their existing staff quickly enough, it makes it really hard to properly use the tech they've invested in. A lot of potential just gets left untapped.
Okay, so significant challenges. But despite those hurdles, what are the really exciting things happening? The innovations, the trends that are pushing the market forward?
Well, one of the most powerful shifts, I think, is the move towards AI-driven monitoring.
AI, how does that work here?
By embedding artificial intelligence and machine learning, these tools can now do something pretty revolutionary. They can actually predict system failures often before they happen.
Wow, really? Like, it tells you a server is likely to fail next week.
Sort of, yeah. Or it identifies patterns that humans would miss. They can also automate fixes for common issues without anyone needing to intervene and provide really smart insights into performance. It means less downtime, obviously, but it also lets IT teams be much more proactive, making smarter decisions based on data. It's a huge leap beyond just reacting to alarms.
That sounds incredibly powerful, like a game changer. And we're also seeing a lot of movement towards cloud native and SaaS solutions, right? Software as a service.
Definitely. Think of SaaS. Yeah, it's like subscribing instead of buying and installing. You just access it online.
Lower upfront cost, presumably.
Exactly. Lower initial costs are a big plus, but also much easier scalability. You could adjust resources as needed and just more flexibility, especially for managing teams and systems that are spread out geographically. You don't need your own IT team constantly managing updates and infrastructure for the tool itself. As businesses get more agile, need to move faster, these cloud-first tools, they're rapidly becoming the go-to standard.
And talking about managing distributed stuff, it feels like everyone wants that single pane of glass view. One dashboard to see and control everything, servers, apps, cloud, network, instead of juggling like 10 different tools. Is that what these unified platforms offer?
Precisely. That's a massive trend, really born from necessity. Companies are getting tired of the complexity, the inefficiency of having separate tools for everything.
One for this, one for that? Yeah.
Right. So they're actively looking for integrated platforms, ones that can oversee the whole stack from the basic servers and apps right up to cloud services and network traffic, all from one place. These unified platforms, they streamline how things get done. They really improve governance because you can apply consistent policies. And ultimately, they give IT teams that holistic control they desperately need, all simplified in one view.
So, okay, let's pull this all together. We've covered a lot. What does this deep dive really mean for you, our listener, trying to navigate this modern business world?
I think it means that as businesses keep going down this path of digital transformation, which is only getting more complex, these IT infrastructure management tools aren't just, a helpful extra. They are fundamental. They're core enablers. For resilience, making sure your digital operations actually stay up and running. For agility, helping you adapt quickly to changes. And for growth, providing the stable foundation you need. Understanding these dynamics, the drivers, the challenges, the trends. It's not just tech talk. It's really about understanding a critical component of modern business success.
It really does highlight how much relies on these systems working smoothly behind the scenes. Which leads me to a final thought, something for you to chew on. Given how fast IT environments are changing, how might the actual definition of infrastructure keep expanding? Could it eventually include things we don't even think of now, like our digital identities, maybe even biological data systems someday? What kind of even more sophisticated adaptive tools might we need then? Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you feel better equipped and maybe even inspired to keep exploring these absolutely vital topics.